mixed bag of Belmont Village Story Swap, December 19, 2022. Without further ado, I am going to begin to tell you a tale, a Javanese tale from Java. One day, two friends, Guno and Koyo, were traveling to the next village, to Tuban. Not far, but not near. And they're on the road, and it's day, it's hot, and it's dusty. But on the road that was dusty, something gleamed, very shiny. And Guno said, "Look at that, it's a Chris." And Koyo says, "Ah," saw it as well at the same time. But Guno was the first to bend down and pick it up. A silver scabbard with the sword inside, a knife inside. A Chris and a knife are the same thing. "Ooh, I can take this to market," says Guno. "I can sell this." That's when Koyo said, "I saw it too. We saw it at the same time. I can take it to market and I can sell it." They argued about this for a bit, and after a while, they agreed to not fight. And time had passed, and they were tired, and what they both fully agreed on was a night's sleep. So Goyo and Goyu and Go and Koyo walked near the edge of the sea. And this is where they decided to sleep for the night before making their way all the way into Tuban. And so they set the scabbard down in between them, and they lie there and they fell asleep. But after a few hours, one of them woke up, and that was Gumo. And Gumo said to himself, "I am the one who saw it first. I should be the one to sell it at the market." And so Gumo picked up the Chris, and he walked to the edge of the water, and he waded in. And he waded in up till chest high. And at chest high, he took the scabbard, he took the Chris, and put it between his feet. And between his feet into the wet sand on the bottom of the seashore, Gumo was able to bury the Chris with just enough sticking out to get it for retrieval. And Gumo comes back, and he lies down and he falls asleep. But not long after, Koyo wakes up and he says, "Oh, that Gumo." For Koyo cannot see the Chris in between them where they'd put it before sleeping. Koyo looks under the first place that you should have known Gumo was going to put the Chris, under one of the rocks, but Gumo knew that that's the first place where Koyo would look, and that's exactly what Koyo did, but no Chris under any of the rocks. But at this time, the moon had come up, and it glistened. It shed enough light on Gumo for Koyo to see that Gumo was wet. So the first thing Koyo did was to bend down, and on his knees, he touched his tongue to the ankles of Gumo, and Koyo could taste salt. He touched his tongue to the knees, he tasted more salt. He touched his tongue to Gumo's back, and he tasted salt. But then, higher up on Gumo's chest, he didn't taste any salt. Ah, says Koyu to himself, I know where the Chris is. And Koyu headed down to the edge, and he went into the water just at chest high. And sure enough, what was underneath his feet but the Chris? So Koyu walks back with it, puts it between them, and falls asleep. And when they wake up in the next morning, they rise, headed out as if nothing had happened. But by the time they're near their destination of Tuban, they began to talk about what they didn't talk about before. And this is how Guma and Toyu reasoned what they would do in the village of Tuban. That Gumo had seen the Chris, but so had Koyu, and Gumo had hidden it in the night, but Koyu was able to find it. Ah, and and Koyu said that Gumo was also able to find it. Unfortunately, that's the part of the tale that's not in this telling. But I will tell you now, and then we will fast forward to their entrance into Tuban. The part you didn't know about before was the fact that when Gumo woke up and saw that there was no Chris there, he wasn't surprised. But there was also no Koyu there, sleeping along his side. And that's when Gumo noticed some haystacks in a nearby field. And Gumo also noticed buffalo in a nearby field. And so Gumo took one of the bells that was hanging around the neck of one of the buffaloes, put it around Gumo's neck, and headed towards the haystacks and acted like a buffalo, would bump his head up and his shoulders against a haystack, and the bell would make a little ring. And he figured eventually he was going to find Toyu under one of these haystacks. And about the fifth haystack, when Gumo bumps it and the bell rings, there's a voice that comes out from within the haystack that says, "Stop it, go away, you're in danger. A tiger might eat you." And that's when Gumo opened up the haystack to see Koyu hiding there with the Chris. And this is where you can pick up the story where we were before. The two friends made their way into Tuban, and by the time they arrived, they were self-congratulatory about finding the Chris under the water where Gumo had hid it, and Gumo finding the Chris under the haystack where Koyu was hiding with the Chris. And so they decided that it made perfect sense that the both of them take it to market and sell it and split their proceeds. And this is the way the day ended for Gumo and Toyu.